Hi, everybody. Meteorologist Joe Cioffi. It's weather in 5 days in 5 minutes. And we want to give you a heads up on two things that are going on. I'm jumping ahead a day on the Storm Prediction Center's severe weather risk forecast. So this is for Friday with an approaching cold front. It will also be a day where temperatures will run up ahead of it into the mid 70s along the immediate coast and into the lower 80s in areas just inland of the coast. So this cold front is going to be strong enough to produce some severe thunderstorms, and the Storm Prediction Center has a slight risk of severe weather from northeastern Pennsylvania, northern New Jersey to about New York City, and then extending across Connecticut, much of Massachusetts, and then on up the Hudson Valley through the Catskills as far north as Albany. And then you have the marginal risk that surrounds that goes southwest into south central PA, southeast PA, central and central New Jersey down to about Route 195, and then also continues on northeastward into eastern Massachusetts. The other thing we want to point out is that the risk for subtropical storm development is increasing. And this is from the Hurricane Center. We're not in hurricane season yet. That doesn't start until June 1st in the Atlantic. It starts in the Pacific tomorrow. But during times when we're not in hurricane season, the Hurricane Center will put out a tropical weather outlook if there's something that warrants it. And in this particular instance, we have such a situation. The last forecast, the last outlook from the Hurricane Center was from last night at 7:25 p.m. I still don't have the new update, which will come later this morning. But rating it at a 70% chance of subtropical depression or subtropical storm formation over the next 5 days. And the short-term period here, we're getting into the time frame where this is going to start we're going to start to see the low develop in the Florida Straits or just southeast of the Florida East Coast sometime later Friday and into Friday night, and then it'll strengthen as it moves on up to the northeast. And we don't see any changes in the model guidance from overnight that would suggest that this forecast is going to be diminished. If anything, it will probably be the percentage is probably going to go up. So let's backtrack and look at today, where we have at least a nice beginning here, but we do have some high clouds out to the west, and we're seeing what's left of some blow-ups of thunderstorms overnight in parts of the southern and central plains. That area is going to be moving eastward, and the severe weather risk is going to be shifting as we go through the day. The Storm Prediction Center for today is looking at severe weather risk occurring from Kansas northeastward through Missouri, northern half of Illinois, northern Indiana, to about southern Michigan and northwest Ohio. And you can see the marginal risk pushes out into western Pennsylvania. We have a wet period of weather ahead of us, by the way, over the next 7 days. You can see the arc of heavy rain that runs from Texas northward to about Missouri and then turns eastward across the Great Lakes and into the Northeast. The weather prediction folks are indicating rainfall amounts in the lighter blues. We're talking about at least an inch of liquid over the next 7 days. And you start to get to those purples, and now you're talking about 1.5 inches to 2 inches, and you get into the reds, you're looking at 2 to 3 inches. So let's take a look at where we're going today, and we're going to see clouds increase. There's a warm front that is setting up to the south of New York City and Philadelphia that will actually be moving through rather quickly, and there probably will be some showers late today across upstate New York that could extend down into southern New England by this evening, might even clip New York City and Long Island. And then the warm front moves out, and we get into a west wind for tomorrow, and that's going to take temperatures up there into the mid 70s to low 80s. And here comes our cold front for late tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow evening with some showers and thunderstorms. And then we get into the weekend where things get a little bit complicated. There's a high to the north building down. the cold front's going to stall out across the Delmarva Peninsula back through Virginia. And I think that means that for Saturday, we're probably going to have some cloud issues, particularly as the day wears on. We may start out with a little bit of sun early, but I think clouds are going to take over after that. And as we move into Sunday, that warm front's going to start trying to move northward. We have a southeast flow coming in off the Atlantic, low pressure in northern Illinois. So we're likely to see some rain or showers during the day on Sunday. I don't think it rains all day, but there will be some showers around and maybe a heavier downpour or two. And then as the low turns eastward, we're going to see an area of rain shifting eastward for Sunday night and Monday. And that eventually will work its way southward down the coast. That low is going to die out, and you're going to see the subtropical system at this point east of the Virginia coast. Is probably going to be another surface low just off the New Jersey coast. The bottom line is that I think starting from later Sunday night and probably lasting into at least Tuesday, we're going to have some on and off rain to deal with. Now let's talk real quick about this subtropical system. So we have already convection down in the Florida Straits. That's going to organize into a low by tomorrow afternoon. There should be a closed surface low in the western Bahamas between those islands and the Florida southeast coast. The low stays offshore, just kind of meanders to the northeast as we go through the weekend, and it does strengthen along the way. It's also going to get energy from this northern system. The thing is, from what we're seeing at this point, it looks like the main body of this storm system is going to stay offshore. One of the things that I would be concerned about come early next week, particularly Tuesday into Wednesday, is that we're going to be going into a new moon, and we're going to have a strong onshore flow with a high to the north and a long fetch of easterly winds coming in from off the Atlantic. So this might create some coastal flooding concerns. I think it will create some coastal flooding concerns for southern New England, Long Island, and New Jersey down into Delaware and even into Chesapeake Bay. And of course, the outlook for next week is rather muddled with these developments along the East Coast, because we're going to have to be dealing with low pressure for much of next week. So I really am not, it's not looking good with the overall pattern as far as next week is concerned. Okay, so first things first, we got a nice day to start off today. We'll see high temperatures up in the mid 60s to low 70s, the cooler 50s right along the immediate coast. A couple of showers overnight in areas as you go north and east of New York City. Nothing to worry about south and west. And then that severe weather risk that sets up for tomorrow. Subtropical storm development probably late tomorrow or early on Saturday. It's going to be a fun week ahead of us, folks. So keep it tuned right here for all the latest. And we'll have more tonight on the Joe and Joe Weather Show at 7 o'clock Eastern Time on my YouTube channel. By the way, my website, the meteorologist Joe Cioffi website, was down for much of the day yesterday. Some technical issues. It is back working. The app was down as well. That is now back working, and I'm in the process of updating everything. So just be patient, and it'll all be there shortly.